guns, gore, and giant mechs. This is Doom the Dark Ages. There's something to be said for simplicity. Personally, I think few characters in video games are as streamlined as Doom Guy. You wind him up, you point him in a direction, and off he goes. Doom Guy looks at the armies of hell like a 5-year-old looks at presents under a Christmas tree. Determination in his eye, one goal in mind, ripping and tearing his way through the waiting horde until his little heart is full. This isn't a holiday though, this is work. And like a canonically 5 foot 3 inches tall Canadian, he's the best at what he does. Which is great, because there's always more hordes of hell. Infernal demons never stop coming. If they did, we wouldn't still be making Doom games 32 years after the original came out. He'd have one and done it, emptied hell on the first go through, and then retired to a small town in southern Italy. And besides, even if the job was done, there's ways corporate can get around that. You see, this here's a prequel. Doom the Dark Ages takes place before Doom brackets 2016 and Doom Eternal. And this time we're rocking a techno-medieval styling. You got boots with the fur, shield with the spikes. What more do you need when it comes to handing out indiscriminate justice to demons pouring forth onto this land? You see, Doomish Guy Bino looks at those portals and you might be remiss to think that he's the angriest man alive. He's stoic, not saying a word, built like a tank, and that mood-appropriate music in the background just rounding out the scene, but honestly, I don't see it. What's that expression? Love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. I feel that Doomathy Guileme here loves what he does with a passion. I see a grin under that helmet every time he bisects a mancubus with his shield. He's the only man in hell with a smile on his face and a song in his heart, growing happier with every demon he decapitates and every projectile he parries. I'm not going to spend too long talking about the story of Doom the Dark Ages for 2 reasons. 1, I am not a Doom lore savant. I can't tell you how this game weaves itself into the overall narrative and adds to the story of Doom brackets 2016 and Doom Eternal. And the second reason being, it's stupid. Not in a bad way, I'm not insulting it, don't get me wrong. I laughed heartily at several moments during it. I exclaimed the word metal at several others. It fits for what it needs to do. At the end of the day, it's summed up in 6 words. Rip and tear until it's done. It would be like trying to explain a Punisher comic to someone. Well, shockingly, Frank gets the bad guy. But that's what you want from Doom, isn't it? Rip and tear? It's a different beast than Doom brackets 2016 or Doom Eternal. Each one tries to bring a different approach to the same concept. And Doom the Dark Ages is no different here. There's aspects of projectile dodging and bullet hell, which gives the perfect playground to showcase the shield you'll be using a lot throughout your work trip to perdition. You see, some attacks are color-coded, dodge the mean red ones, and parry the shiny green ones to send them back towards the enemy. Progress further into your slaughter safari, and you're going to unlock bonus abilities that trigger with those parries. You'll get ground tremors, or even a shoulder-mounted turret. Doom the Dark Ages wants to give you the right tools for the right job, and these are some fun tools. 12 ranged weapons, 3 melee. It's a cornucopia of choice when it comes to the aforementioned ripping and tearing. Each weapon felt weighty and impactful. It sounded great, it felt great, and some of them are exceptionally metal. I mean, yes, you could use the Impaler and throw massive spikes at your enemies and pin them to things. Or, hear me out on this one, you could carry a hand-sized wood chipper that you feed skulls into that fires bone shrapnel instead. I mean, you're free to pick whichever weapon you choose, even if it's the wrong one, I guess. Credit should also be given to the animation team. Watching the firing animations on some of these weapons, there's nice little details that you're not going to be noticing while you're mowing down minions. But if you stop and play around with them and watch them, there's some neat stuff going on here. As you fire the combat shotgun and run low on ammo, you can see the integrated magazine through a window on the side of the gun, and the shells will run empty. The Impaler has runes carved on the bottom of the spikes and a really nice reload mechanic. It's got a great rolling animation when resetting to fire the next one. When you're moving at high speed and focusing on not dying, you're not going to be watching these details, sure, but they're important. The fact they're included here, it adds to the feel of the guns. It rounds them out. And this is a game where guns are the thing that matters. They need to be done right in a Doom game. They've got to sound right, feel right, and look right. And this game is built around that. And the shield fits perfectly as a new addition to Doom Butte Guilliman's arsenal. It doesn't feel tacked on. It doesn't feel like an afterthought. It's enjoyable to use, it's weighty, it sounds fantastic, and when you get further into the game, you can upgrade it with runes that will enable you to customize the parry system on it to be your flavor of retaliation, which pairs nicely with the melee option. The open space areas and bullet hell styling with projectile dodging of Doom the Dark Ages gives you a worthy battleground to play in. You can throw your shield and cut down swaths of minions. You can embed it in a larger demon to stun them while you unload your firearm. Alternatively, shield charge in and just take them down with melee. Each option feels satisfying to use, and when everything lines up, you enter this flow state of being an untouchable vengeance delivery system. You get to dodge between projectiles, parrying and executing demons left and right. When this happens, Doom the Dark Ages shows why others try to claim the crown the Doom franchise has worn for generations. Sadly, while the shield doesn't feel tacked on, the same can't be said for the Atlan mech or the Mecha Dragon. They are used sparingly throughout the 22 levels in the campaign, so they don't really overstay their welcome too much, and they do have moments of fun. The problem is they just feel like a gimmick to include for the features section on the store page. The Atlan mech is towering and impressive. You can't help but feel powerful while you stomp your way over tanks and buildings with impunity and just explode titans with a rocket punch. But it's shallow. And it's a problem because it sounds cool. It sounds like it would fit right at home in a Doom game. It's a giant mech. I just wish there was more going on than walking up to the next titan in your path and engaging in a Pacific Rim skinned version of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Combat with the Mecha Dragon and the Atlan, for the most part, both work in the same way. You press one attack button, then you dodge a color-coded attack, which powers you up, and then you finish off the enemy. When you hold that up against the rest of the combat that Dark Ages provides, it can't help but fall short. I hope they don't scrap the idea of either of these. Mech-based and aerial combat both sound great and they would fit. There's the start of an idea here. It needs refinement. The Mecha Dragon is at its best when you're flying around the map exploring or chasing down enemy ships, gunning them down. That's great. But the moment you engage in combat with any of the enemies you're meant to be fighting, you're locked into this kind of just dodging mini game, and it feels like it just comes up short. That exploration that I mentioned, it's strong regardless of whether you're taking to the air with your trusty Mecha Dragon or you're just hoofing it on foot through swamps, castles, and other assorted environments. Some of these levels are big. There's a lot to explore, and there's a lot to find in each of these levels, from toys and skins to gold and gems. The levels and environments in Doom the Dark Ages vary in size. It doesn't feel like any of them are large for the sake of it. They're restrained when they need to be, and open when they choose it. It builds upon the combat to create an experience that never feels formulaic or samey. You're not just running forwards in a straight line screaming while firing your shotgun. Sometimes you're in wide open battlefields, throwing that shield, and other times you're dancing down narrow castle corridors, dodging projectiles. When that's combined with the weapon upgrades on show in Doom the Dark Ages, it keeps combat enjoyable. And given the replayability that's here, that's something you want. The campaign is built up of 22 missions. Each can be replayed after completion, and each has its own set of secrets, collectibles, and challenges listed out so you can see what you've missed and what remains. You can Work on efficiency for each of these levels. You can aim to get through each as fast as possible with minimal damage. Or you can take your time, discover all the secrets held within each level, and get those little progress bars to 100%. Of course, if you're someone who enjoys suffering, you could also just throw the difficulty up to Ultra Nightmare and slam against that wall until you break through it like the Kool-Aid Man. So, Doom the Dark Ages carries a weighty price tag of £70, €80, or $70. There is of course a premium version as well with some skins and a campaign DLC included at a later date. We're mentioning this because it also comes with that latest gimmick in gaming of 2 days advanced access. As always, don't do that. Don't give in. You're strong enough to wait. I believe in you. Our playthrough of Doom the Dark Ages took 19 hours to roll credits on the campaign, during which time we unlocked 18 out of the total 28 available achievements. None of these are tied to specific difficulties, they're just collectibles and challenges. As mentioned, there's replayability galore here, so use our time as a gauge only if you're interested in seeing the campaign through. Bringing new ideas to an old concept, Doom the Dark Ages replaces the verticality and speed of Doom Eternal with old school projectile dodging and a more grounded, methodical approach, making you feel like an unstoppable juggernaut. The shield is a welcome addition to the franchise. Sadly, the same can't be said for the Atlan or the Mecha Dragon at this point. Hopefully they get improved upon and we see them in another entry. Doom the Dark Ages sits neatly on the shelf next to Doom Brackets 2016 and Doom Eternal, each one trying something a little different and becoming someone's favourite, showing that even after 32 years of slaying, Doom Guy still has reason to smile.